guard's grip bites into Malik's wrist like a warning. The velvet rope shakes as he's pulled back from the glass doors. Conversations around him keep flowing, but eyes turn fast. In this room, attention is a weapon, and Malik is the target. He doesn't shout, he doesn't beg. He keeps his shoulders square and his face calm. That calm makes people angrier than panic ever could. A black man refusing to fold always scares a room built on comfort. Dr. Camille Whitmore stands under chandelier light in a white gown, looking untouchable. She's the university president, the keynote voice, the power everyone came to praise. Her smile is polite, practiced, and cold. She doesn't see a person at first, only a disruption in her perfect night. "Remove him," Camille says, not loudly but confidently, the kind of confidence that makes others move without thinking. Her assistant nods as if this is normal procedure. A donor chuckles like humiliation is entertainment. Malik's shoes scrape marble as he's dragged backward. He catches the reflection of himself in the glass doors. A thrift store blazer, a plain black shirt, a cheap staff pin he borrowed to get past the first checkpoint. He looks like exactly what they expect him to be. Camille steps closer, her gaze scanning him like a form that needs approval. "You're with catering," she decides. The words land like a label slapped on his forehead. A job title is the fastest way to shrink a man in a room like this. "I'm not," Malik says. His voice is low, steady and clear. It doesn't shake, it doesn't apologize. The air shifts as if the room just realized he can speak. Camille's expression tightens. "Then you're lost." She gestures toward the exit like she's dismissing a fly. Her tone says she's granting mercy by not calling police. Her face says she has already forgotten him. Malik's eyes lift to the golden sign beside the doors. Whitmore Foundation. Gala. Equity and Opportunity. Under it, a slogan in bright lettering. No one left behind. The irony burns in his throat like cheap liquor. "That's your promise," Malik says, pointing at the sign. "Not mine." The crowd murmurs, soft and judgmental. People in power hate being reminded of their own words. Camille's assistant steps in quickly, voice sweet with condescension. "Sir, if you need financial aid, there are proper channels." The phrase "proper channels" is a polite way of saying disappear. It's how institutions wash their hands without getting them wet. Malik exhales slowly, like he's been here before. "I didn't come for money." His gaze stays on Camille, not the assistant. Camille is the one who has to hear this, even if she doesn't want to. Camille tilts her head, amused and irritated at once. "Then what did you come for?" Her smile sharpens like a knife dressed up as jewelry. The guard tightens his grip again, ready to end the scene. Malik opens his palm. A frayed red ribbon rests there, wrapped around a small folded note. The ribbon looks old enough to be a ghost. The sight of it makes Malik's fingers tremble for the first time tonight. Camille's eyes lock onto the ribbon. For half a second, her face loses its polish. Something flashes behind her eyes, fast as a memory trying to escape. Then her mask snaps back into place. She lets out a short laugh. It's not warm. It's not kind. It's the laugh of someone declaring the moment beneath them. A few people around her follow her lead and laugh too, relieved they've been told how to react. "A prop," someone whispers. "A stunt," another mutters. The word stunt is how they make pain feel fake. It's how they excuse ignoring a man standing in front of them with history in his hand. Camille's voice turns firm. "Escort him out." She doesn't even look at the ribbon again. She looks at the room, ensuring her authority stays intact. If he returns, call campus police. Malik closes his hand around the ribbon until it presses into his skin. He doesn't plead. He doesn't raise his voice. He simply turns his head toward Camille as the guard pulls him away. "You still don't recognize me," Malik says quietly. Not a question. A verdict. His tone holds no drama, which makes it feel heavier than anger. Camille's brows pull together. "Have we met?" Her words are cautious now, because the familiarity in his voice unsettles her. Powerful people hate uncertainty more than they hate disrespect. Yeah, Malik answers, and the room feels suddenly smaller. A long time ago, when you fed me. The ribbon in his fist becomes a heartbeat. The crowd goes silent, deciding whether to believe or dismiss. Camille's eyes harden again, forced back into control. This is inappropriate, she snaps, because that word is safer than the truth. She steps back as if his past might stain her dress. Her assistant signals the guard to move faster. Malik lets himself be dragged, but he doesn't let his dignity drop. He speaks one last line as the cold air hits his face outside. So was starving outside your school fence. Then the doors close behind him, sealing warmth and wealth inside. Outside, cameras flash from across the street, hungry for a spectacle. Malik's wrist aches where the guard held him. He breathes through it and walks away without running. He refuses to look like the story they already wrote for him. 2 blocks down, the noise fades. Malik stops under a streetlight and pulls the red ribbon back out. It's frayed, faded, and still stubbornly alive. He touches it like it's a promise that refused to die. He didn't come to embarrass Camille. He came because her foundation rejected his program twice. He came because kids are still falling through cracks, and the people holding the ladder keep looking away. He came because he learned long ago that silence is how the system wins. 24 years earlier, Malik wasn't a man in a blazer. He was a hungry black boy with cracked lips and a stomach that felt like it was eating itself. He slept in a stairwell behind an abandoned hair supply store because it was the only place the wind didn't cut clean through him. His mother had died after an untreated infection turned into a hospital tragedy. The bill came like a punishment for being poor. His father collapsed under grief and addiction, disappearing into streets that swallow black men without leaving receipts. Foster care came next, a revolving door of homes that claimed they were helping while reminding Malik daily he was unwanted. By 12, Malik learned how to move quietly. He learned which corners were safest. He learned to drink water slow so it felt like food. He learned that hunger isn't just in your belly. It's in your dignity, your hope, your sense of being human. Near Redwood Middle School, there was a fence behind the cafeteria. Every day at lunch, Malik sat behind the dumpsters where teachers didn't want to look. He watched kids eat cornbread and chicken sandwiches and fruit cups like the world was stable. He hated himself for watching. But hunger makes you do shameful things just to stay alive. On the 3rd day, Camille noticed him. Camille was a black girl with braids and tired eyes, the kind of tired a child shouldn't have. She lived with her grandmother and a little brother in an apartment where the heat worked only when it felt like it. Camille learned early how to stretch food, stretch money, stretch patience. Her best friend Nia saw Malik too and tugged Camille's sleeve. Don't stare. That boy looks like trouble. Nia's voice carried the fear adults pass down, the fear that says black boys outside the fence are danger, not children. Camille didn't look away. He looks hungry, she said. Her voice didn't carry disgust. It carried recognition. Because hunger was a language she spoke too. Nia scoffed. Hungry ain't our problem. Camille's stomach tightened at that lie. Hunger is always everybody's problem. People just learn to call it not my business so they can keep walking. Camille walked toward the fence with her lunch tray. Cornbread, greens, a small cup of peaches, a carton of milk. It wasn't much, but it was hers, and that mattered. Malik flinched when her shadow fell across him. He expected a teacher to yell. He expected a guard. He expected to be chased off like a stray dog. Instead, Camille crouched down until her eyes met his through the fence. You okay? She whispered. Malik tried to answer, but his throat was too dry. His voice came out like dust. Camille didn't wait for a full sentence. She peeled the peaches open and slid the cup through the fence first, like she was offering peace. Malik stared at it, suspicious. Kindness can feel like a trap when you've been hunted. Camille smiled, small and real. It ain't poisoned, she murmured. I'm not that creative. Something in her joke cracked Malik's fear just enough. He reached through the fence with shaking fingers and took the peaches. He ate too fast, syrup running down his wrist. Shame rose up, hot and thick, but hunger was louder than pride. Camille slid the cornbread next, then the greens, then the milk. Malik ate everything, and his eyes watered, not because it tasted amazing, but because it tasted like being treated human. When he finished, he leaned back against the brick wall, breathing like his body forgot what relief feels like. Camille watched him for a moment, then untied a faded red ribbon from the end of her braid. It wasn't new, it wasn't pretty, but it was hers. She pushed half of it through the fence. "Take it," she said. Malik blinked. Why? His voice was small, like he didn't want to ask for more than food. Camille's eyes softened. "So you don't forget somebody saw you," she said. "So you don't forget you matter." Malik took the ribbon like it was fragile. His throat tightened around words he didn't know how to carry. "What's your name?" he asked. "Camille," she answered. "You?" "Malik." Camille nodded like she was memorizing him. "You gonna be here tomorrow?" Malik hesitated, because tomorrow was never promised to kids like him. But he nodded anyway. "Yeah," he whispered, choosing hope like a dare. "Then I'll bring something tomorrow too," Camille said. She stood, glanced back once, then returned to her friends like nothing happened. But for Malik, everything happened. The next day she came back, and the next, and the next. Camille got teased. Camille got warned. Camille got told she was wasting food on a boy who would never become anything. Camille kept coming anyway. Her grandmother noticed the missing food and didn't punish her. She stretched dinner thinner. She watered down soup. She cut portions smaller and acted full so Camille could keep feeding Malik. That was black resilience in its purest form, quiet and costly. For 6 months, Malik survived because Camille refused to look away. They talked through the fence in short bursts, like life was too fragile for long speeches. Malik told her he wanted to be rich one day, not because he loved money, but because money meant safety. Camille told him he was smart, even when he didn't believe it. One cold afternoon, Malik stared at her and made a promise that sounded ridiculous even as he said it. "When I'm rich," he whispered, "I'll marry you." Camille laughed so hard she had to cover her mouth. "Boy, you crazy," she said. But her eyes shined like she wanted to believe crazy things could be true. Then one Monday, Malik wasn't there. Camille waited behind the fence until the bell rang. She waited after school until teachers shooed her away. She ran home and begged her grandmother to help her look. They searched alleys, stairwells, underpasses, calling his name like prayer. They found only the stairwell where he slept, empty except for a torn hoodie and a smell of cold concrete. Camille cried into her grandmother's coat until her throat burned. Then life kept moving, because life doesn't pause for missing black boys. It just absorbs them. Years passed. Camille grew into a woman who spoke the language of power. She earned scholarships. She fought through rooms where people assumed she was the help. She became Dr. Camille Whitmore because she refused to let the world decide her worth. She told herself she was building a better system. She told herself she was feeding the hungry in bigger ways now. But somewhere along the climb, she learned how to ignore pain that didn't fit into meetings. And that's how she ended up at a gala about equity, ordering security to remove a black man holding a red ribbon. The next morning, Camille can't swallow her breakfast. Her mind keeps replaying Malik's eyes, calm and wounded, like a storm held behind glass. She calls campus security for the incident report, then watches the footage on repeat until her hands shake. The ribbon in his palm hits her like a punch. Her heart stutters like it recognizes a voice it forgot how to hear. Camille drives to the old neighborhood alone. No assistant, no cameras, no polish. The middle school fence is still there, rusted, patched, ashamed. She stands there in the cold and feels 12 years old again, holding peaches and fear. She walks into the community center nearby, the one that still smells like struggle and disinfectant. She asks for Malik, and the receptionist's eyes sharpen with suspicion. "What do you want with him?" the woman asks, because black communities have learned not to trust power that arrives uninvited. "I need to apologize," Camille says. The words feel too small, but they're all she has. The receptionist points down the hall. "Room 3, she says, "but don't come in there acting like you're saving him." Camille finds Malik teaching a job training class. He's calm, patient, commanding without being cruel. He's building young black lives with practical tools and hard truth. When he looks up and sees Camille in the doorway, the room feels like it stops breathing. Malik dismisses the class and closes the door. Silence hangs heavy. Camille whispers his name in disbelief. Malik answers calmly. She admits she didn't recognize him. He tells her she never looked. She labeled and dismissed him. Camille nods, tears rising, owning the truth. Malik pulls a folder from his bag and places it on the table like evidence. He says he came for this. His program, the Bridge Project, the same proposal Camille's foundation rejected twice. As she opens the folder, she sees budgets, letters, data, and highlighted rejection emails stamped with cold phrases: insufficient credentials, lack of partnership, try again next year. Camille feels sick. Malik explains that he followed every proper channel, only to be denied because he doesn't have the kind of resume those rooms respect. The kids he serves, he says, don't have time for respect. They need survival. Camille's tears fall onto the papers as she whispers that the proposal is good. Malik corrects her calmly. It isn't just good, it's necessary. Shame shifts into anger as Camille realizes what she has become. She admits, barely audible, that she turned into the gate. Malik agrees without hesitation. Taking a steady breath, Camille says she will fix it. When Malik asks how, she answers simply, "Today, in front of the same people who once watched him be dragged out, she will tell the truth where it hurts." That afternoon, Camille walks into a foundation board meeting with Malik at her side. She doesn't allow procedure to protect them. She publicly admits she humiliated Malik and exposes what he built without their help while they hosted dinners. Malik speaks about foster youth, homelessness, and systemic punishment. When asked about credentials, he answers calmly that his scars and the kids still breathing are his proof. The room falls silent. Camille ends it there, announcing immediate funding, real resources, and Malik's appointment as Director of Community Equity Initiatives. Someone raises a procedural concern, and Camille's voice turns cold. "So do funerals," she says, making it clear she is done paying for loss with her silence. Weeks later, words become action. Apartments open, staff are hired, and young people are placed into real opportunities. Malik walks onto campus wearing a badge with his name and title, not because titles define him, but because they open doors for the kids coming behind him. Camille doesn't just sign checks from a distance. She shows up. She carries boxes into transitional apartments, sits in circles with youth, and listens without interrupting. She learns how to apologize through work, not speeches. At a small ceremony with folding chairs and honest applause, the first group from the Bridge Project stands holding certificates. Some have jobs, some are enrolled in school, and some simply hold keys to their own doors. Camille steps forward with a velvet box and reveals a silver pin shaped like a red ribbon. Her voice trembles as she looks at Malik and says, "I see you." He pins it to his jacket as the room erupts, not with polite clapping, but with gratitude from people who know what it means to be truly seen. Outside, snow falls softly as Malik pulls an old, frayed red ribbon from his pocket. Camille reveals her half, and the knot still fits. Time did not erase what kindness tied. Malik came back, not rich the way he once imagined, but rich in something stronger. Kindness didn't just change a life, it restored a name.